persons with disabilities, employees, or corporations.
be looking to the persons for the logic of the doing, but we are adding the S. Article 17 the Supreme Court ordered is the judgment on the current case by the irregular interpretations of the agreement. Therefore, it would have the right to claim any personal logic of the persons can be defined by the Article number 21 says declare that the state and the provide free and the compulsory educations to all the citizens of the as of the 6 to the 14th year in class in the manner as the state any determined class with the provisions next into the elementary educations and the conducted by and on the higher of the professional education. These the provisions was added by the 86 Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. This amendment is a major milestone in the country aims to achieve education for all. The government described this step as the dawn of the second revolutions in the sector of the citizen right. Even before this the amendment, the Constitution contained a provision for free and the compulsory education for children under the Article 45. The part number 4. However, being the directive principle it was not enforceable by the court. Now there is the scope for the judicial interventions in this regard. The amendment changes the subject matters of the Article 45 in directive principle. It now the state shall the independent to provide yearly support care and the educations for all the children until they complete the age of 6 years. It also added a new fundamental duty under the Article number 51A that carries it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to provide opportunities for the educations to his the son or what between the age of the 6 and 14 years. In 1993 itself, the Supreme Court reorganization the fundamental right to the primary education in the right of the life under the Article 21. It held that every child or the citizens of this country has the right to free education until the completed the age of 14 years. Thereafter, this right to education is subject to the limit of the economic capacities and the development of the state. In the adjustment, the court the overruled with the yearly adjustment 1992 was declared that there was the fundamental right to education up to any level including the professional education like medicine and engineering. The pursuance of Article number 21A, the Parliament enacted the right of children to free and compulsory education. PEE Act 2009. This act is to provide that every child has the right to be the provide full-time elementary education for the satisfactory and the equitable quality in the normal school who the satisfies certain essential norms and standards. These legislations in the anchored in the belief that the values of equity, social justice, and democracy, and the creations of a just and the human society can be achieved only through the provisions of inclusive elementary educations to all. Protections against arrest and detain. Article number 22 grant the protections to the persons who are the arrest of detentions is of the two types, namely punitive and the preventive. Punitive detention is to the punish the person for and the offense committed by by him after the trial and the convictions in the court. Preventive detention on the other on the other hand means the detention of either person without trial and the conviction by a court. It is the purpose, it's not either punish the persons for the past the offense, but to the prevent him from the committees and the offense in the near futures. Thus the prevent the detentions is the only the frequently measures on the based on the suspension. The article number 22 has two parts. Article number 22 has the first part deal with the case of the ordinary law, and the second part deal with the case of the preventive detention law. The first part of the article 22 confer the following right on the person who is the arrested on the detained under in the ordinary law. Right to be the informed of the ground of arrest. Right to consulate and be the defended by the legal practitioner. Right to be the protection before the magistrate within 24 hours, including the journey time. Right to be the release after the 24 hours unless the magistrate authorities federal detention is the safeguard are not available to an enemy alien or the person arrested on the detained under the preventive detention law. The Supreme Court also ruled that the arrest, the detention in the first part of the article number 22 do not cover the arrest under the order of the court, civil arrest, arrest on the failure to pay the income tax and the decretations of the alien. They apply only to an act of the criminal or the quasi-criminal nature of some the activity prejudicial to public interest. Number B. The second part of the article number 22 grant protections to persons who are the arrest or the detained under the preventive detention law. The protection is available to both citizens as well as the aliens and included as follows. Include the following: the detention of the person that cannot exit and 3 months unless on the advisory board report the sufficient forces for extended detentions. The board is to the consist of the judge of the High Court. The ground of the detention should be the communicate to the detainee. However, the fact considered to be the against the public interest need not be the disclosed. The tenant should be the effort and the opportunity to make the representation against the detentions order. Article number 22 also the authorities and the parliament to the prescribe the circumstance and the classes of class in which the persons can be the detained for more than 3 months under the preventive detention law without the obtain the opinion of the advisory board. The maximum period for which the person can be the detained in any classes of the class under the preventive detention law, and the procedure to be followed by and the advisory board in the inquiry. The 44th Amendment Act of 1978 has reduced the period of the detentions without the obtaining the opinion of an advisory board from 3 to 2 months. However, this prohibition has not yet been brought into the force, hence the original period of 3 months still continues. The Constitution has divided the legislative power with the regard to prevent detention between the Parliament and the state legislatures. The Parliament has the exclusive authority to make the law of preventive detentions for reasons connected with the defense, foreign affairs and the security of India. Both the Parliament as well as the state legislature can concurrently makes the law of the preventive detentions for the reasons connected with the secretary of the state, the maintenance of public order and the maintenance of the supplies and the service essential to the community. The preventive detentions law made by the Parliament are Preventive Detentions Act 1950 expired in the 1969. Maintenance of the Internal Security Act (NISA) 1971, the repealed in the 1978. Convention of Foreign Exchange and the Preventions of Smuggling Activities Act of the 1974. National Security Act (NASA) 1980. Preventions of direct marketing and maintenance of the supplies of the essential Accommodation Act (EMSCA) 1980. Terrorist and Disruptive Activities Prevention Act (TADA) 1985. Repealed in 1995. Prevention of illicit traffic in the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act (PIP and DPSA) 1988. Revision of the Terrorism Act (COTA) 2002, repealed in 2004. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UPA) 1969 as the amendment in 2004, 2008, 2012 and 2019. It is unfortunate to note that no democratic country in the world has made the preventive detention as an integral part of the constitution as been done in India. It is unknown in USA. He was resorted to in the Britain only during First and Second World War time. In the Indian, the preventive detention exist even during the British rule. For example, the Bengal state provincial regulations of 1818 and the Defense of Indian Act 1939 provided for the preventive detention, right right against expulsions, right against expulsion, prohibition of traffic in the human being and the forces labor. Article number 23 prohibits traffic in the human beings began the force the labor and the other similar forms of the forces labor. Any contraventions of which the prevention shall be in the offence punishable in the accommodation with law. This right is available to both the citizens and the non-citizens in the protected and the individual, not only against the state but also against private persons. The expressions traffic in human beings included the sellings and the buying of men, women, and the children like goods. Immoral traffic in the women and the children, including the prostitutions, devadasis, and the slavery. To the punish is the act and the parliament acts and the immoral traffic, the Preventions Act 1956. The term the bigger the mean the compulsory work without the remunerations. It was the peculiar Indian system under which the local Zamindar sometimes used to the force their tenant to the render service without any payment. In the additions to the article number 23 prohibited other the similar form of the forced labor like contract labor. The term the forces labor means the compelling the persons to work against his will the work forces includes not only the physical or legal force but also the force arising from the conditions of economic circumstances that is the working for less than the minimum wage. In this regarded the Modern Labor System Evolutions Act 1976, the Minimum Wage Act 1948, the Contract Labor Act 1970, and the Equal Communications Act 1976 were made. Article number 23 also the program and the exceptions to this the provisions it permits the state to the impose compulsory service for the public purpose as for the examples military service or the social service for which it pays the not the bound to pay. However, in imposing such service religion, race, caste, and the class. Prohibitions cover payment of the children of the police. Article number 24. The prohibition providing. It also the issue the directions for the improvement of the education's help the nutrition of children. The commissions for the protections of the child right act present. The commissions for the protections of the child right act 2005 was elected to the provide for the establishment of the national commissions and the state commissions for protections of the child right and the children for the providing speedy trial of offence against the children or of the violations of the child right. In 2006, the government banned the employment of the children as domestic servant or the workers in the business establishments like the hotels, bus, restaurant, shops, factories, the store, specialty shops, and so on. It warned that anyone that employs children below the 14 years of age would be liable for the prosecutions of the federal actions. That the San Yoga prohibitions and the regulations amendment at 2016. Prohibition of the regulation act 1986. It has the renamed the Principles Act as the Child and the Adolescent Labor Prohibitions and Regulating Act 1986. The right to freedom of the religion. Freedom, conscience, and the free protect religions and implications of the freedoms of conscience. The freedoms of the individual would reduce the directions for details when hardware decides right to office declarations of one's the religions lives in openly and fairly. Right to practice performance of the religion's worships, rituals, ceremonies, and limitations of belief and ideas. Right to propagate transmissions and the disseminations of the religion's beliefs to others or the expositions of the tenets of one's religions, but it does not include the right to convert another persons to one's of the religions, proceeding conventions, things to countries of the freedoms of conscience, guardian, therefore it is clear that the article number 25 cover not only the religions, beliefs, doctrines, but also the religions practice the rituals modified with the right or eligible to all the persons, citizens, as well as non-citizens. However, this right are the subject to the public order, morality, health, and other provision relating to the fundamental that others the state is the permitted to regulated or the restrict any economic, financial, political, or other secular activities associated with the religion's practice and provide for the social welfare and the reform for control of an Hindu religions, the institutions of the public characters to all the classes and section of Hindus. Article number 25 also the content to explanations, one wording and the graying of the Kriyapan is to be the included in the provisions of the Sikh religions. The Hindus is the context and include the Sikhs, rights and netizens. Freedom to the manias religions affair. According to the article number 26, every religions or any of the sections shall have the following right. Right to establish and maintain administration for religions and charitable purpose. Right to manage this on the affairs matters of religions. Right to own and the equal movable and the immovable property and right to administer and the property and the influence of law. Article number 25. Collective freedoms of citizens, like the right under the article number 25, the right under the article number 26 are also the subject to the public order, morality, and the health, but not the subject to the provision relating to the fundamental rights. And Supreme Court held that the religious denominations must satisfy three conditions. It should be in the collections of individual who have the system of beliefs, doctrines, and whose they regard as the conducive to either spiritual well-being. It should have a common organization and it should be the designated by a distributed man. Under the above the criteria, the Supreme Court held that the Ramakrishna missions and Andhra other religions denominations with the Hindu religions. It also held that the Aurobindo society is not a religious denomination. Denominations even from the taxations for the promotions of religions. Article number 27 lies down no person shall be the compelled to pay any the tax for the promotions or the maintenance of any particular religions or religions, new nominations in another word. The state should not spend the public money collected by way of the tax for the promotions or the maintenance of any particular religions. And these provisions prohibit the state from the evading patronage and supporting one religion over the other. This means that the tax can be used for the promotions or the maintenance of all religions. These provisions prohibits only levy of the tax and not a fee. This is because the purpose of the fees is to the control secular administrations of religion institutions and not to the promote or the maintaining religions. Thus, a fee can be the levied used to provide them some special service or the safety result. The similar a fee can be the levied on the religions implement from meeting the regulations expenditure freedom from the attending religions instruction under the article number 20. No religion is 28. Article number 28 and no religions instructions shall be provided in any language by educational institutions model maintained out of the state found also the conditions of the service implements what are decent and not decent regulations to the previous explanations of the authorizations of implements and the regulations is theory syllabus and the curriculum of the study fall under this category. Such the regulations do not in any manner interfere with the right under the Article number 31. Subject to the eligibility condition, the qualification prescribed by the state being made the unaided minority educational institution will have the freedom to appoint teachers, lecturers by adopting any rational procedures of selection. Extensions of aid by the state does not alter the nature and the characters of the minority educational institution. The conditions can be imposed by the state to the ensure proper utilizations of the aid without the however the evaluating or the abridging the right under the Article number 31A. Right to constitutional human rights. Here declarations of the fundamental right in the Constitution is the willingness, useless and the partners within the providing and effective machinery for their enforcement and the Article number 92 confer the right to the remedials to the enforcement of the fundamental right of the aggregate citizens in order other what the right to get fundamental right of protection is the itself the fundamental right. This makes the fundamental clear. That is the word that the called Article number 2 as the most important article of the Constitution and the article without the rules this the Constitution would be the unity. It is the very nature of the Constitution and the very heart of the heart of the Supreme Court has the rule that the Article number 32 is the best features of the Constitution. Hence, it cannot be the obligate or the taken away effect by way to of the amendment to the Constitution with the content the following provision. The right to the move the Supreme Court by the appropriate proceeding for the enforcement if the fundamental right is granted.